What up, nerds? This is Ron coming to you from Kind of Nerdy. And it's been a while since I posted a comic, and so I thought tonight we would do X-Men number 190. I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to do 191 because it's a two-parter. And then, I'm going to see if I can get people to actually vote on what I'm going to do next. So this is Uncanny X-Men number 190. And it has a wizard on the cover. It says, "Scream, Xavier, scream! Though you and I, through you, I shall rule the X-Men and the world." And plus, it says, plus guest stars Spider-Man and the Avengers. We have it's supposed to be Charles Xavier blended with someone else. We will find out who that is on the inside. And I'm not going to do it like I have been doing with the reading you the ads unless people say they want to. To me, that's just a waste of time. So here we go. To many, this is the greatest city in the world. New York, New York, the Big Apple. We have armed guards outside some kind of stadium. It looks like at a boat at the dock and a bridge in the background. I'm assuming that is the Brooklyn Bridge, the Big Apple. And then we got another shot and have a Navy ship going underneath the bridge, and helicopters and jets flying over the Statue of Liberty. You'll notice the scaffolding around the Statue of Liberty. In the 80s, they refurbished the statue, and so there was a lot of there was scaffolding around it for a couple of years at least. I remember. Uh, it is a place unlike any other. So this is supposed to be from this is from February 1985. So that means it probably came out in either October or November of '84 because they were always uh, published a couple of months ahead of time. You can see down here this is a copyright 1984 by Marvel Comics Incorporated. So um, and look at a subscription rate of $7.20 for 12 issues. Yeah, you can't even get a whole comic for that much anymore. All right, so the Nevermore and Nevermore So Than Today, an age undreamed of, starring the Uncanny X-Men. And this it looks like a to me it looks like a waterfall around this island, and it looks like something out of the Arabian Nights. The buildings do, and it's written by Chris Claremont and drawn by John Romita Jr. and Dan Green. And it says 200 miles to the south, in a city somewhat smaller but equally well known, is a house whose occupant holds the fate of the planet in his hands. I'm Valerie Cooper, Special Assistant to the President's National Security Advisor, and I'll be chairing this morning's meeting. The energy curtain appeared just after midnight in the city hall neighborhood of Lower Manhattan. Within an hour, it has spread to encompass the entire island, establishing and holding its current position. Our military reconnaissance satellites have determined that everything within the curtain, animate and inanimate, has been regressed to this barbarian state, translated into its equivalent historical analog. Police become civic guards, guns, swords, cars, horses, and chariots. As the final example indicates, we're talking about fundamentally scientifically impossible reorganizations into the state of matter and reality. The barrier is para, paramable, paramable. I can't say that word. Troops easily penetrate it, but the moment they did, they were transformed. We haven't heard from them since. Evidently, they lost all memory of their true identities and the world they came from. None of those affected voluntarily wish to or attempt to leave this island, but some have inadvertently crossed back through the barrier. Since this happens mostly on the rivers, we've ordered our naval units to keep constant watch for anyone in the water. Evidently, those people remember their experience, though Some don't quite believe it. Our interrogation of them has given us a fair idea of what's happening in Manhattan. I like interrogation. It sounds like they're not being interviewed; they're being interrogated, like they had something to do with it. But always see, you can tell it's the 1980s because you got two people smoking in the same room as non-smokers. Something you would be unheard of now. And it looks like the guy down here on the right with the gray hair and glasses is actually smoking a cigar. And okay, the city is ruled by a wizard named Colin Goth. Within his barrier, a different set of natural laws apply. Magic, sorcery, work, works. As the satellite surveillance photo reveals, he is not a benevolent monarch. His laws are enforced by a cadre of super beings called Morlocks. The slightest infraction of them is punishable by summary execution. Uh, Cool Goth also practices human sacrifice on a monstrous scale. His victims are exclusively children. So the Morlocks, if I don't know if I don't think we've introduced them in these that I've been reading, but the Morlocks are mutants that live underground, underneath Manhattan Island. They're they're they fled society to live underground because they're persecuted, and so they have their own little city under Manhattan. They live in what's called the alley, and so that's what it is. And Cool Goth is an old arch nemesis of Conan the Barbarian. So repeated attempts to contact Avengers Mansion, the Baxter Building headquarters of the Fantastic Four, and Shield's New York field office have failed. We have, however, managed to cite a number of super beings, which, along with the eyewitnesses' accounts of escapees, have confirmed that those heroes have been transformed. Captain America, Wasp, Star Fox. Star Fox is Thanos' brother, by the way. Vision, Scarlet Witch, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Storm, Rogue. Sorry, my cat thinks I'm talking to him. Uh, these are these are who we've managed to identify so far. So, for some reason, Spider-Man seems unaffected. We've no idea why. This spell doesn't alter personal relationships or memories. Friends remain friends, families families. The Avengers, a band of warrior heroes. It's just that the external reality that is different. Their powers and their lives are now defined in terms of the age they're living in. They believe that the whole world is just like Manhattan, and if they can't find a way to reverse the enchantment, or at least hold it in check, we may well be right. Dr. Cooper, you have mutants. That outlaw group, the X-Men, lined up there along with the Avengers as heroes. What's the idea? Why one of their members, the girl Rogue, is a known criminal? Filthy mutant vermin. Muty vermin. This whole mess is probably their fault. They ought to be stamped out once and for all. Not racist at all, is he? What do you suggest, Jack? That we herd them into concentration camps, test everybody in the country, maybe the entire world, and dispose of whoever doesn't measure up? The threat exists, General. Ignoring it won't make it go away. Humanity is in a fight for its very survival. Most of you are too young to have lived through the World War II or what the Nazis did. They called the Holocaust. It's called the Holocaust because for a good reason. I was 20 when we liberated Buchenwald, and I'll carry the memory of that awful day with me till I die. Last night I saw some pipsqueak racist TV commentator talking in terms that would have made Adolf Hitler proud, telling his audience to be on the lookout for muties, and if any are found among friends or family, or even your own children, to get rid of them. Is that what you want for ourselves and our posterity? Is that what our country is coming to? Gentlemen, this is This isn't helping. The paramount threat we face in is on the screen because the United Nations is in New York. Every country on the globe is involved. We're looking. They're looking to us, my friends. Right now, the fate of the world may be well depend upon those mutant vermin who have no reason to help and every reason to wish us harm. Perhaps if they give us a second chance, we can change that. I hope, I pray so with all my heart. So the redheaded guy behind that's next to Valerie Cooper, that's Henry Peter Gyrich. You might recognize him from the guy that tried to shoot Rogue with the mutant neutralizer and ended up shooting Storm, who lost her powers. But I like how they, this general, he talks about how he was there when they liberated a concentration camp in Germany during World War II and what it was like, and he's a perfect example of what we need to be. Is that those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it, and it's because of people like him in the real world that we need to remember because we should listen to those who lived through it because they know what they're talking about. They've been through it, and to think that things can't happen again is foolishness in my opinion. Okay, so I'm getting off my soapbox. So she wakes achy and out of sorts from a fitful sleep shot through with strange and terrible dreams. She senses a fundamental wrongness she does not understand and cannot explain. But is it within her or the world around her? All seems all as it should be, has has ever been, yet it does not. Oh, who dares? Sunder of the Vizier's Guard. I am Callisto, captain of the guard. I have a warrant, my lady Ororo, for your arrest. So, if they're supposed to remember who people are, then Callisto shouldn't have to introduce herself to Storm because in previous comics, and I might go back to that. Um, Storm defeated Callisto in hand-to-hand combat for to rule over the Morlocks, and she almost killed her without using her powers. So she should know who she is. On what charge? I have done nothing. Your existence displeases my master Cullen God. That is sufficient. Consider your reputation. I expected more resistance. I'm disappointed. Is the iron hot sunder? It'll do, Cal. Splendid. This slave colors for you, Wind Rider, to brand you for all time. Close it around her neck, Sunder, before the metal cools. No! She flips him. Yeah, he lands into burning coals. uh, the the brazier set the deck alight. Most of the crew and guards should be too busy with that fire to worry about me. I'll be more easily with. I'll move more easily without these silk panels entangling my legs. Where to go? The flames are between me and the wharf, and Callisto is sure to have more warriors ashore. Whoops! He cut through the halyards. The weight of the boom is pulling them upwards. I shall ride one to the masthead and pray the captain brought no archers. The rest of the rest of you stay out of this. The witch is mine. And she does the old pirate knife in the teeth routine, climbing up the ropes. Uh, my master would have preferred you alive, Ororo, but I think he'll shed no tears when I present him with your corpse instead. This is a moment I've long awaited, Windrider. You will not escape me now. I have no weapon. That makes the odds even. We all, after all, though, we're both mutants, but I'm a warrior. They say, are a goddess. For the briefest of moments, a pain flashes ice fire across Ororo's belly. Her world turns topsy turvy. Suddenly, she's certain of who and what she is, and that the person has nothing to do with this time. She before she's even fully aware of that realization, however, it is overwhelmed by another, more immediate one. The mast is burning. I'm one in one smooth movement. She sweeps herself and Callisto off the boom. Fool, you kill us both. Perhaps. Dive. She loses. Callisto loses the knife as they dive into the water, uh, and hit the water. John Romita Jr. He's such a good artist back then. He's what made me fall in love with the X-Men. Uh, I made sure Callisto bore the brunt of the impact. She is stunned. I doubt she'll be remain so long. The current too strong to resist, sweeping us towards mid-river. Good. I wish to be as far from the wizard and his guards as blessed goddess. I am myself again. But I was no less so before. A monstrous lie. Yet the truth, what manner of being could do such a thing, and why? As you see, she went through the barrier, and now she's back in modern times. And you see the Navy. I'm assuming it looks like a destroyer, but it should be a Coast Guard cutter. Um, Callisto spoke of a sorcerer named Kulangat. Is this his doing? And what of the X-Men? Who were in Manhattan last night? Were they cursed as well? What has happened to them? You see, my dear Doctor Strange, how easy it is, how mutable human flesh can become. Among our people, Charles Xavier, your people, Charles Xavier is a formidable wizard, whose mental powers far outstrip my own. But my master's spell caught him by surprise, as it did you, before either of you knew what was happening. I remade your metropolis into a realm where my power and will reign supreme. So the guy with the pale white flesh and big yellow eyes, that's Caliban of the Morlocks, and his power, the only power he has, is that he can trace mutants or detect mutants. Um, and so Kulangat has melded him and Xavier into one being. Only those with mystic powers are a threat to me, and of them, you alone, mage, possess the insight and ability to resist the master spell and the strength to give me pause. Everyone else, save the cursed man spider, has been transformed by my enchantment. They are already under my influence, so they no matter how valiantly they struggle, the final victory will be mine. He alone has spared was spared, and he alone is free to know the truth. Yet the knowledge will not save him. It will only make him suffer all the more. By the time you became aware of the danger, you were my prisoner, and quite helpless. The other lesser wizards, along with those who possess fantastic physical powers, such as the mutant X-Men and the Avengers, will be offered a choice: serve me or die. In fact, thanks to my new creation, Xavier Caliban, my latest recruits have already arrived. With their aid, plus that of the mutant beings called Morlocks, who I have already enslaved, I shall have my revenge against a dearly hated foe, the accursed man spider. And see, Doctor Strange, we all know, if you watch the Marvel movies, he's the Earth Sorcerer Supreme, and he took away his mouth and made his fingers uncontrollable. How do you do that to the Earth Sorcerer Supreme? Bring forth the prisoners. They are but children. How delightful! Your mentor, Charles Xavier, is already in my service. Indeed, it was he who led me to you. Professor Psypower summoned new mutants. He lured friends and self into a trap. Self confused. Friends underwent physio psychological metamorphosis. Why not self? Insufficient data. Observation analysis continuing. So the guy with the weird thoughts said is warlock. He's a mutant from an alien race called the I forgot that. They're a technobiological race. Being what they do is they transform organic material into uh, circuitry basically, and then absorb the energy from it. And he can shapeshift, but that's not what makes him a mutant because all members of his race can do that. What makes him a mutant is that he has compassion, which is not heard of in his race because with there's a magus and a warlock, which is a magus is the master, the father, and the warlock is the offspring. And when the youngling is born, the magus tries to kill him, and vice versa. So one has to kill the other in order for the other one to survive. Aren't you glad you're a human? uh, Xavier informs me that you are called mutants, feared and hated by those who lack your special abilities. That makes you most precious to me. I am Kulan Goth, soon to be master of the world. You and your fellow mutants will provide the nucleus of my hell horde. You are you are outcasts, afraid and resentful, no matter how hard you try to hide or deny it. See how easily I take those negative emotions and combine their darkling potential with my own powers to reshape your body and soul. So he's gathered the new mutants here. On the left is Rain Sinclair, aka Wolfsbane. The girl with the braid is Danny Moonstar, aka Psyche. She's a Cheyenne. The dark skinned guy is Roberto da Costa, aka Sunspot. The blonde guy is Cannonball, Sam Guthrie, and then the guy on the far right is Warlock. By the Maker. Forgive Self Rain, you were Self's first friend. Self owes life to you. This is a Warlock's true form. Self should have acted sooner, but there's still time to save the others. The features of a handsome young man vanish, replaced by Warlock's true appearance. Though he is as much a mutant as his teammates, he is not human nor even of Earth. A metamorph able to transform his body into anything, he is techno-organic, being composed of living electronic circuitry. Unfortunately, fast as he is, Cool and Goth is faster. Danny, Roberto, Sam, they've changed as well. Self dares not fight. They could do self grievous harm. Worse, self might do the same to them. Better to flee, as self always does, to self's eternal shame. The creature's that creature's terror and loneliness is at least as great as its fellows. I should have enslaved him with ease. It was unaffected by my massive spell as well. Xavier, come forth. I, Caliban, hear, hear, dread Lord, and obey. So one of the tropes of Marvel Comics is that magic can't affect metal or technology for some reason. I don't know why that is, but that's been something that's been part of uh, Marvel Comics for decades. Explain that creature's immunity. Cannot possibly. It is Warlock's alien nature. He is not of this world. Find it at once. No. Caliban wishes to obey, but I do not. But I do not. Your will, little man, is as formidable as any I've encountered. In your own world, is your proper time, your true identity. You might prove my equal, but my magics have reshaped reality in my image. Everything, everyone in it is my creation. I hear, I Caliban obey. But hidden in the nearby shadows, careless as ever, cool and goth. Your enchantment has no effect on a sorceress who was old her power feared when this world was in its infancy. So we have Selene. We've met her before. Uh, Black Queen of the Hellfire Club, Vampirus, and all around biatch. Uptown, a pair of petites for the wizard won't be so pretty once we're done with him. Shame of a with him, kind of a shame, don't you think, Buckles? We mean no harm. We have done no wrong to you or your master. Let us go. So we have Amara, Magma, and Rachel Summers. We fought red. You lost. Tough break. Not so hasty, dolt. Not all Morlocks are as hard-hearted as Callisto. You be nice to us, sweetums. Maybe we'll be nice to you. Such a noble offer from such noble men. It seems almost a shame to steal your lives and souls. And you see Selene absorb their life essences. The street, it comes alive. I can't move. My doing. But fear not, I shan't keep you a prisoner long. We meet again, dear children, but I'll wager, thanks to you, that idiot Cullen Goth's spell neither of you remember. Princess Amara, Lady Rachel, I am Selene. Hoboken, just across the Hudson River. How do you feel, Callisto? Furious. I hate owing my life to you. But then there aren't words to describe my feelings for Cullen Goth. Nobody turns me and mine into toys. What then do we do about it? Doors locked. The feds must mean to keep us on ice till they're ready to interrogate us. Storm, Callisto, a psychol, but who? Selene. Her clothes, they are reminiscent of the garb worn by the Hellfire Club's Black Queen. I am using Rachel's telepathic abilities to project my thoughts, which, if you have harmed her, I have not. Let there be peace between us. Wind Rider, I need your aid. The ensorcelment of your city is the work of an old and deadly foe. If he is not stopped, and soon, his spell will become irreversible and will spread from the source to engulf the entire world, planet. Will you allow that as, or was I wrong in my estimation of your courage and sense of duty? His spell made me a slave, sweetheart. Once I cross this barrier, I'll revert. I won't be much use to you then. I can remedy that somewhat by using my own sorcery to protect you from his influence. And while you will forget this modern world and your roles in it, you'll remember the essence of our conversation, that Kulangoth is an evil which must be destroyed, and that Selene is ever your friend and ally. Yeah, with friends like that, who needs enemies? You believe her? Nope. Trust her? Never. Quit showing off, Ororo. Why don't you just use your elemental powers and fly us out of here? They no longer exist, Callisto. How? What happened? It's not important. It is to me. I did not know you cared. You won my place in fair combat as leader of the Morlocks. I wanted to take it back the same way. That means nothing if you're just human. More importantly, we take care of our own. If someone did this to you and you don't take his life, I will. Hey, you two, hold it right, stay where you are. So they're in a federal facility under lock and key, and they only have one guard. Run! Security alert! Get after them! Don't lose those women. Let those women escape. Which way, Callisto? Down the ladder. Once we're in the sewers, they'll never catch us. Our Morlock tunnels extend to the side of the river. We'll use them to cross back into Manhattan. Meanwhile, this is crazy. Not only has my home turned into a giant-sized set from Conan the Barbarian, but it looks like everybody's favorite pastimes become collecting the scalp of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm moving as fast as I can, but I'm not shaking these guys. What gives? Maybe I'll just have better luck in a crowd. Gangway! What the devils? Oh, great, nobody speaks English anymore. The language sounds awfully familiar, but though I've heard it before, whoops! Bless you, Spidey Sense. The latest in a hopefully never ending series of timely warnings. I don't dare hit back too hard. These aren't real villains, just ordinary people, victims. Some of them might even be my friends. Hey, I don't know those ears anywhere. That's Cannonball. I'm being chased by the new mutants. That gaily comparison adventurer is putting up an admirable struggle, my lady, against considerable odds. There, my darling Eros, I thought your credo was to make love, not war. Every rule needs its exception, dear Janet, and the warrior's courage should earn him a better fate than the wizard's dungeon. Eros, they have him. So much for my being a nice guy. I'm trying to so hard not to hurt these kids. I'm getting clobbered, and now it seems that I need them most. My strength, my powers are deserting me. It is at the master's as the master promised. Kulangoth's magic channeled through us has brought his hated enemy low. Kulangoth, but that's impossible. So what's happened in New York? If that means what I think it does, I'm in big trouble. Hold the master's oracle. Xavier speaks to me. Another foe is close by, there by the fire. She's just a girl. Leave her alone. And we have the Avengers: Captain America, Wasp, and Star Fox. His shield marks him as a captain. So, stand aside, lout. We're on the wizard's business. And if I refuse, you and your companions defy the dread lord at your peril. Bring me their heads. A brawl. The perfect end to a perfect evening, eh, sweetheart? Only if we win, Nightcrawler. For shame, rogue, to have so little faith when have we ever lost? Always the first time, sugar. Cthulhu, Colossus, and Sunder. As it is quite common under such circumstances, things quickly get out of hand. Meanwhile, there it is, our moment of truth. Scared? Very. Makes two of us. It is a shame fate cast us as rivals, Callisto. Breaks my heart, Blue Eyes. Oh, I forgot to read all of it. So there it is, our moment of truth. Scared very. Makes two of us. You okay? You don't look so good. It is the wound that you gave me, but I can manage. It's a shame that fate has cast us as rivals, Callisto. Breaks my heart, Blue Eyes. Shall we? Emerging a step later from the barrier are the hard bitten mercenary warrior and a sorceress princess of the house that was old before the dawn of history, restored to perfect health by Celine's enchantments. Regrettably, in the name of Kulangoth, slay them! So roughly the same moment back at the tavern. Rebel scum, you are doomed. The lad may have a point, my friend. We're certainly outnumbered. My tribe always has been Nightcrawler, yet we've never been beaten. So long as we live, we have hope. However, all but forgotten in a melee, the scullery girl, who was its cause, reveals her true self. The soul sword is the ultimate expression of Ilyana Rasputin's power as a sorceress. No magical entity or spells can withstand it. And as her ensorcelled brother Peter discovers, the touch of her eldritch blade frees him from Kulangoth's slaver spell. But the reaction of his comrades is no less swift and devastating, as Sunspot shatters the floor beneath her. Ordinarily, Ileana would have saved herself by teleporting to Limbo, but that's her mutant power, and thanks to Kulangoth's master spell, she's forgotten she possesses it. Suddenly, the room itself, walls, floors, ceiling, furniture, comes alive to entomb the warriors threatening Ileana and the battling heroes. Unhand her! Our comrades slain to a man. Only Sunder's strength shattered our prisons and saved us. We have the manspider. That's what Kulangoth wanted most. The, these others can wait. They're gone, vanished, fled. Yay! For us, we win. I owe you more than I can ever repay, little snowflake. My life, my very soul. Piotr Nikolaevich, What else was a sister to do? Who came to our aid, and why? She struck with a merciful brutality that matched our foes. I am Celine. These my children Amara. I am Celine. These my children Amara and Rachel, and I was far gentler than they would have been with you, dear Captain, in similar circumstances. At least their end was quick and relatively painless. Your agonies at Cullen Goth's hands would defy description. I saved you from that. In your in return, I require your aid against the foul spectre who has seized your city. Ah, Celine, weren't you always saying that overconfidence, would prove the death of me, mistress? What an unexpected pleasure to meet once more so hated a foe from the old days, and remove her with such consummate ease. Your pathetic rebellion will perish with her, but I can and will be merciful to those called mutants. Abandon your so-called comrades, who would sooner stab you in the back than accept you into their hearts and homes. I offer the wealth of ages, power, glory, all the pleasures you can imagine. In return for your loyal service, decide quickly, my friends. I shall not ask again. Sorry, we're late, Celine. What's what's our next move? Minutes later, Ishtar's girdle. Dread one, the rebels there. Gone. Where? I, Caliban, do not know. I, Caliban, seek but cannot find. What a pity! Could it be, dear Colon, that there are limitations to your abilities that are perhaps not quite so omnipotent as you like to think? So it's interesting that we have two evil sorcerers, Colin Goth and Celine, and they're not allies; they hate each other. That I find that's really kind of a good thing that uh, that evil doesn't tolerate other evil because it sees it as competition, whereas good sees other good as an ally. So I think that's a really um, good thing there. You would do well, Slattern. What you would do, Slattern, to hold your tongue, lest I carve it out. Ah, true, my master spell requires much power and concentration, but these mutants have proven unanimously acceptable to my will. I will susceptible, not acceptable, susceptible to my will. I shall mold them into the most fearsome warriors any world has ever seen. Already, with the Morlocks and Xavier, Nova's students, we've seen the first fruits of my genius. Search the city, my proud butchers, from its topmost tower to its darkest Morlock cavern. I want the rebels in chains and in their graves by sunrise. You're positive we're safe, Callisto? Nowhere's safe, Fuzzy. We're a we're a wizard's we're a wizard's concern, but I figure this hole is as good as any that will ever get. The tunnels are all warded against the Seeker Xavier's power, and this is one only I know about. One I know about. Ororo, I'm worried about the girls. Celine touched their souls. She's a part of them as they are of her. Cool Goth could use that bond against us, or Celine herself could. The risk must be taken, Callisto. We need their powers. If it comes to a choice tomorrow, which side? We have no choice, Rachel. Not really, not anymore. First, last, always to serve Celine. The wizard's guard is drawn from your tribe, Callisto, and yours, Oro. He called them mutants. It is said that we are touched or cursed at birth with magic. For that crime, mutants are branded outcasts. Even a leper is more welcome than we. Bitterness and rage at such treatment exist in all our hearts, no matter how noble or innocent. Small wonder Colin Goth finds it so easy to twist us into his foul shaping. Selene is demon, sorceress, and mutant both. So am I, good captain. Knowing that, would you defend me as you did before, along among my people, youngster, for whom I am named? A person is judged by deeds. E- Everyone is treated equal, free in body and spirit, with the same right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But I warn you, Selene and Kulangoth are two of a kind. We don't trust her either, Cap, but we need her. As I suspect she now does us. The paramount threat, however, is Kulangoth. Whatever our suspicions of Selene, we know that we will do what he will do, enslave the world, Captain, including your proud America. Once he is beaten, then you can worry about her. Ororo, she may be dead already, or worse. We've lost our strongest weapon before the battle's even begun. That is what Kulangoth no doubt believes, so we shall turn what belief that belief to our advantage. Confront raw power with stealth and trickery. Confound his sorcery with our wits, and with all the boastings, Nightcrawler, he is no god, merely a man. And we may fail, but we must try. My entire life has been a crusade against evil, against those who would enslave their fellow man. No matter what time period or reality Captain America is in, he's still the paladin. There is no doubt in my mind Ororo is right. Some of us are mutants, others aren't, but that isn't important. If people, if if who we are as people, that is as important. If who we are as people, if what we believe in is to mean anything, we have to make a stand. My friends, in the name of those Kulangat has slain and may yet slay, and the dreams he trampled into nightmares, let the word go forth. Avengers, assemble! Next, Raiders of the Lost Temple. I always love the Avengers Assemble by Captain America. So this is the end of issue 190. Uh, I hope you enjoyed it. I really do a little bit of a talk back about it, a little bit of a review. So, Colin, like I said, Colin Goth, he's a enemy of Conan the Barbarian and Red Sonja. Uh, During this time period, Marvel had property rights to Conan the Barbarian, so he was basically a Marvel character. Um, and as you said, as you know, Spider-Man mentioned about Conan the Barbarian, he during this time that this book was out, Arnold Schwarzenegger played Conan the Barbarian in the movies, in two different movies. So that was Captain America's that was kind of a fourth wall break there. Um, so I like that no matter where Captain America is, he's always the does he stands for what's right and just. And I'm going to take a few minute break and then I'll be back and we'll do the issue 191. This is Ron with kind of nerdy. Have a great one.